up, everyone? Welcome back to You Better Than Me podcast, and we are back again with season 3. I'm gonna ask y'all to just bear with me for a little bit because your girl is feeling a little bit under the weather, but I got my co-host here with me, Fallon, so she'll help me hold it down. What's going on, Fallon?
Hey, girl. Hey. Season 3 up in this. Child, I feel like life been lifing. The people gonna get tired of us saying that, but if they've been rocking with us, then they probably have been experiencing life the same way that we have.
Right. And I mean, guys, when we say life has been lifing, just to get this recording, like literally this recording right here to you, life has been lifing. So I'm really happy that we're here because, I thought we was on some Marvin Sapp. Never would have made it.
We almost did make it. Never would have.
Almost didn't.
Pyro was about to look. We was about to get a day late and $1 short, and our little podcast was about to be gone. The people were just gonna be wondering where we was at. That because life was lifing.
For sure. So, what's been going on with you, Fallon?
Girl, I feel like it's been like 2 months since the people heard from us.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that, your girl has been putting that new last name into a full effect and trying to navigate this new wife role, this attorney and wife role, this dog mom, no longer having to be a single dog mom role. I feel like I've been doing a lot, but I'm trying to, I don't know, I'm trying to like come up with some type of theme. You know how they get the new year, new you, but like new month, new me type of thing. I feel like maybe if we just set the tone with like life, even the podcast, like if we set a theme or like the tone of how we want things to go, I feel like we could probably reclaim and change the narrative because, baby, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Is it just me, or have you been doing a lot too?
I've been doing quite a bit. I'm feeling like I can be everywhere, everyone for everyone, and that's just not happening. So I know I can't be everyone for everybody, and I know I can't be every place at the same time. So I do feel, a little bit like I'm being stretched thin, and some of the things I have going on, it makes me feel like I might have like a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like, can I really do this or what?
Girl, imposter syndrome. Ugh. I feel like just that's somewhere along the lines of that same strong black woman trope. Like, I feel like everybody with a degree or with a good job or like with more than one thing going on is using that word, and I try not to use it as like a scapegoat or like as a means to like make excuses for myself. Like, damn, is that real? Like, is imposter syndrome real? Like, am I literally out here faking it? That's not the definition. What's the definition that you give that?
So I'm not 100% sure of what the definition is, but I think part of it is that you feel like your success maybe isn't deserved or isn't isn't achieved, as a result of like the efforts that you put in. So you feel like you're not deserving of it.
Well, then, yeah.
So I see it in two different ways because I don't see it like I'm not deserving. I see it as if like, can I really do this thing? I feel like for a long time, like I've always had the underdog mentality. Like I remember, even being in ROTC and not really being on the drill team and not really getting it the first go round. Like even being on the step team when I became an AKA, like not getting it the first time around and then getting it and then feeling like, oh my gosh, like I have it now. Like, do I really have it? Like second guessing myself in a sense. So for me, that's kind of what imposter syndrome feels like.
Ooh, not you dropping your organization for the first time on the pod. Pew, 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 pew.
I said sorority. I don't think I said the name.
Oh, well, we'll pretend like you didn't say it. Because, baby, I was about to say, all right, we really boldly claiming our set with this season. Ain't no imposter syndrome.
GDI. GDI.
I feel like even with the podcast, though, that could be true. Because I feel like, damn, we're on season 3, but I can't even front. Like, I was sitting up here like, okay, Krista, maybe we fooling ourselves. Maybe we can't do this shit. I'm assuming maybe that was imposter syndrome. Like, this is season 3. We're literally in season 3. Like, can we do this?
Right.
Bitch, we have been doing it. So, I'll go ahead and renege on saying that. I think that imposter syndrome isn't necessarily something that I deal with. I'm gonna go ahead and own up to it and say, yeah.
I remember seeing like this quote that said, "You are what you do." So for like a long time, I'm like, oh, well, am I a singer? Oh, am I a writer? And it's like, well, are you doing it? Because if you're doing it, then that's what you are. And so
Well,
I think
you
a lot of times the reason why we have so many thoughts about or anxiety around imposter syndrome is because the word comparison comes in. Because you
baby.
look at somebody else that's doing what you think you should be doing, or you should be measuring up or leveling up to whatever they're doing. And that's not necessarily the case. Are you doing it or are you not doing it? Because if you're doing it, that's what you are.
I feel like that quote that you just said had so many levels to it and so many layers. Like, let me I guess pull what was coming up for me apart, because so many things came when you said that. So one, you said if you singing, then you're a singer. You could sing. You sang at my wedding. You are a singer. You are literally a singer. And under that same train of thought, then if you're a singer, then I've written, I wrote, I'm married, I got a whole marriage license, and yes, I am a
Right.
wife. But how are we? I guess so. Maybe we are comparing. Then
It
are
is.
you saying that I'm not a good singer? I know you're a good singer.
So it's not even that. I think that like, so I am a singer. So currently, guys, if you're not aware, I'm going to be in a show coming up soon. And I'm a singer. I am not a dancer, but it does not mean that I can't do a little two-step. But I think the thing that happens to me when I have a dance number into my singing routine is I get a little bit intimidated by someone that can do it better because that's their lane. And I know this is different because I'm comparing apples and oranges with singing and dancing, but there's still that underlining of comparing, or this person has it this way, or you can even think about from a lawyer standpoint, this person works for a firm, I work for a nonprofit, I work for the government, they are on this level, I'm on that level. And it doesn't mean that you're not doing what you can do. It's just that if you compare it to someone else that's doing it and they're doing it in a different way, then sometimes you feel like you're not doing it.
Yeah. Well, bringing the people current. You mentioned your show, so if anybody has been following Kristen on social media, you have seen her going to practice after practice after practice for Jam to Review. Baby girl had been singing. She'd have been choreographing and two stepping and doing all of these things. So you have also added, I guess, actress. Would that be one? You've added actress into
No.
your list of things. Like you're performing, you're putting on a play.
Well, no, it's not a play. That's what I have to tell people. It's not a play only because some people are just like, "Oh my gosh, is it a like a musical?" Which a musical has the acting aspect. It's not a musical at all. So like for people that don't like musicals, I'm like, that's not what it is, because people will be like, "I'm not coming because I don't like musicals." So no, it's just a review of music. I'm not acting. That's just what it is, a review. But I am performing, so it's very similar.
So you are a performer, not an
Performer.
actress. There's no
No.
script. You just sing.
And
Nobody
let's
is
and let's
saying,
not be
hey.
confused with entertainer, because I would not be doing Beyonce numbers. I'm giving you Jill Scott. Jill Scott. I want let me see you 1 2 step minus the Sierra.
But see, even then, like they're successful women in their own right. So
Exactly.
now I feel like you are you what's the word? You know, I be trying to use my big words and saying them wrong. Are you trying to denigrate um their talent or your talent?
No. For me, what I'm saying is, and I had this conversation with someone in my show, I stay in my lane. Like I get that, my producer, I'll call him producer, he wants to give, add a little dance to it because it could be a fast song that I'm singing, but I stay in my lane. I am not a dancer. Like when Erica Badu goes to perform, she sings, she doesn't dance, so everybody doesn't have to flip flop. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not just trying to say that I'm trying to be dismissive on what I can do, is that being a realist, I know what I can do and I know what I can't do.
So is your reality taken away from your greatness?
I don't think my reality is taken away from my greatness, but I do think that it is taken away from my greatness when I don't see in me what others see in me, and their expectation is a little bit higher than what I have of myself. Like for
Ooh.
you, for your wedding, I felt like I sounded bad, but again, I hold myself. I'm very hard on myself. So for me, that was not the best that I could have done. But for someone else, that could have been like, girl, that is the ice cream with the whipped cream on it. You know what I mean? But just
Yes.
because how hard I am on myself, it was not the best for me.
And I know the people probably like, God damn, these bitches still talking about this wedding. Whatever. As much as me and my husband paid for it, we're gonna be keep talking about it. But when I saw the video recap and like you singing literally started my entire wedding video, like that was such a big moment. Like we both had chills like when that video started. So even if you feel like your performance was not like Grammy worthy, like that's gonna be a moment that's gonna be so important to us that like we're gonna get chills every time we hear that song 30 years from now, 40 years from now. Like you singing, your voice made that moment just so big. So I feel like maybe don't be as hard on yourself when it comes to that. Like name it and claim it and just say that bitch you a singer. You could sing.
But see, that's where
you sing.
With imposter syndrome, when you have it, you have to give yourself grace because that's just negativity coming in to say that you can't do something that you're already doing.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but baby, you sang that song, and
thank you, friend. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take them flowers.
Like I feel like that also goes hand in hand with like not knowing how to take compliments or like not knowing how to just say, you know what, maybe I am the shit. Like, is it okay to just be like, I'm the shit?
I do feel like there's a level of hyping yourself up that you just have to have. You know what I'm saying? But I think sometimes when you hype yourself up, you can still come back and be like, oh my gosh, can I really do it? Because if I'm not mistaken, I was the one who told you I was gonna sing in your wedding. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even an ask. It was kind of like, girl, I got the Lord's Prayer.
And you said that before I even had a man.
Exactly.
You really did
get that Lord's Prayer. Right. And then here I am, it's time to do it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. My voice shaking.
Wow, that is crazy. You That's literally so crazy. Did. You really did. That was almost 2 years ago. More than 2 years ago now that you said that you was going to be singing in my wedding. So you named it and claimed it. But see, how can I say, like, I've never been a wife before. So when I hear the question like, oh, are you a good wife? Are you a great wife? Like, I guess he's happy. Like, is that imposter syndrome where I'm just kind of like, well, shit, you good? Like, I check in with you. Like, I don't know.
But see, again, I feel like all of that comes back to comparison because are you comparing that to, you could be, doing it and not even thinking that you're doing it, comparing it to societal, like, what society says you should be doing. Like, oh, do you cook every day? Well, boom, you're a good wife. Do you, you've been in that thing go every day. You're a good wife. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know like what it is between you and your husband that would make, you feel like you have imposter syndrome. Because again, if you're checking in and everything is good, then there shouldn't be any imposter syndrome unless you're comparing it to someone else.
Yeah. See, I wish he was here so that I could be like, hey, boy, I'm a good wife or not. I feel like that is very true. Like society has kind of given, I guess, a blueprint. I think it's definitely changed since like grandparents' age or even great grandparents' age. Because we grew up where women were working. You didn't have to let Mr. Charlie do what he needed to do across town. Like we had more priorities than like our great grandmothers possibly had. Like they was just worried about getting food on the table. Like as long as you was taking care of your kids, keeping your house clean and all these things, like they didn't really put too much on it. Like I feel like what they were measuring themselves against was more of, I guess, like duties. Like, am I doing this? Am I doing that?
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like, again, there probably was no imposter syndrome because you just did what had to be done. There's really no time to compare it to someone else. And plus, back in those days, most of the people were already in the same situation as you.
That is true. So, I feel, that's a lot to think about. That's really a lot to unpack, because I also feel like as Black women, there's a whole different aspect of like what that could mean or what our expectations of ourselves are, or even like who we're measured against. Like I feel like just personally, when I do something, I feel like I gotta outdo everybody. Like I feel like it gotta be the best. I gotta do this. Like I don't want to hang around nobody that's not hyping each other up. I don't want no squares in my circle when it comes to people that are like, really out there trying to go and get it. But I don't know if like our counterparts of other races feel that way. Like are they suffering? Like, well, damn, I saw Susan doing something and it wasn't what I
Oh my
had going,
gosh,
but it was
yes.
better. Like, you think
I
so?
would say yes. Of course, yes. I mean, you know all these shows is on TV. It's definitely that way. We wouldn't have a place for Real Housewives of nowhere, especially other places than Atlanta and Potomac. Like the other ones, that's a whole show about comparison.
But
A
I
whole
don't
show
watch all
about
them shows. I don't watch
and I
all
don't
those
watch them that
shows.
often, but I have seen them. But it's a whole show about someone having something more than the next person. So I think that it just happens across the board, and especially now with social media, that just takes things up another notch because now you can really see that someone across the street or someone across the country or someone across the pond is doing something differently. And then here you go, man, I'm doing it too, but I'm not doing it like him or her. So am I really doing it or should I be doing it better?
That grass ain't always green on the other side, but it look pretty if they water it
Yeah.
nice.
So
Like,
I think this may be good. I know we're still speaking about, you and imposter syndrome with being a wife, but I think it might be a good exercise for you to say everything that if you were the best wife that you could be, what would that look like for you? And
ooh,
then as you go throughout your day, your month or whatever, you take your own list and what you're doing and you compare and contrast from how you would want to be with where you actually are. And that could be something that both of you guys do because now you're not looking at anybody else. You're just looking at yourself. Like if this was just my little house, my little bubble, and I could be the best wife that I could be, it would look like this for me.
I like that. That's deep.
You know, I had went to school one time for psychology, so
Did you? Did you really? Was that your
that's my
major?
major. Yes.
Girl, I don't know why I thought your major was like business or something
Yeah, no,
techie.
I ain't got no business.
You ain't got no business, huh?
I ain't got no
Well, I
business.
I definitely think that I like what you just said. I definitely feel like that takes a lot of pressure off of like, me thinking like what I'm seeing on Instagram is like how
Mm-hmm.
everything would be going, because scrolling on some of these sites or like pages can really have you looking like, well, god dang, like what the hell am I doing?
But
Hell,
think
even
about now, it's just the two of you. So, if you guys are blessed to have a kid, that's going to take it up another notch because you're going to think
child.
about all the emotions that come with being a parent, especially for a woman, and then not ever being a parent before. Am I doing this right? Am I a good mother? Even though you know what a cry for poop means versus a cry for food, because that's just something that's going to come to you.
Girl, now you got me up here really scared. Like, thanks, Kristen. Now I'm no, I'm just
Well,
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm
I,
just kidding.
I'm the fun tea. So,
I feel like that's a role that I mastered, being the Amy. Like, I feel like there was a season where it was really just like, oh, I'm the fun auntie, I'm the fun auntie, I'm the fun traveling, I'm in Dubai aunt, or like I'm the one that is going to brunch again. Like, I feel like that's probably the only role that I've had in my life that I did not feel like an imposter in. And I don't know if that's bad or not, but I feel like that's one role that I never second guess myself on. Like,
but you know why you probably didn't? Because you had nothing to measure it against.
ooh,
So I mean, because here's the thing, like me and my friends that are single talk about this several times. Like there are life experiences that happen that you get more accomplishments for as opposed to other ones. So for being an auntie, nobody's getting you balloons, nobody's buying you a gift. You just are what you are. If you get married, then you get a gift. If you have a baby, you get a gift. Like I mean, even sometimes if you're a single person and you buy a house by yourself, there's no gift for that. But if you're
mm.
married and you guys buy a house together, you get a gift. So being an auntie and being a fun auntie, there's nothing to measure it by because like ain't nobody checking for you. Sorry.
Well, damn.
I mean, I'm in that boat. They're not checking for that.
I don't think that's true. I don't
See,
think
I
that's
do.
true.
I
I
do.
I think people checking for the Amy's, but before we even get into that, let's take a short pause, pay the church's money, and then we can dive back into that because I really want to talk about that. Because ain't shoot, being an Amy, the fun Amy was my favorite role in life so far. So that's a lot to top, but we'll talk about it.
Are you ready to take your streaming broadcast, website, or social media visuals up a notch? Pyro Media Productions is here with the perfect solution. From dynamics, design, and professional headshot shoots to family photo ops, they've got all you need for stunning content creation. Check out pyromediaproductions.com today and add that creative flair. Pyro Media Productions, setting brands ablaze since 2017.
So, you don't remember when people had t-shirts? There was like Fly Annie, Rich Annie, Bougie Annie. Like, there was so many different, just like genres of Annie that were out here that were just like popping. Like, I'm the always in Dubai. Like, I just feel like that is something that should be celebrated. My Annie was always one of my favorite people. Like, I have so many just wonderful memories of just like chilling with my auntie and all of that. Like, no shade, but I was like almost sad when my auntie got married and had kids, because just that era of being her niece was so lit. And just like seeing, like, I feel like everybody idolizes the auntie unless you just got a real sorry trifling auntie that just ain't about nothing. I feel like she's the one who's idolized. She's the one that's sought after for advice. She's the one who you go to when you want to be bad and don't tell your mama. Like, the aunt has so many important roles. Like, I feel like the auntie is getting her props. And yes, I'm from Houston. I say auntie. We say auntie. I don't know what y'all say in Georgia and DC, but it's auntie. I know it sounds country, but my auntie.
But I can see that still being a problem in and of itself, because typically the person that made the shirt was the auntie. It's not like you got the mama saying, let me give some props to the auntie. That's not really what's happening. So when you think about that, you can also look at it from a different perspective. Like, being an auntie, you also have imposter syndrome because this is not your child. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the best you can, and you are fun, but you can be fun because you don't have to be there to lay down the law. You don't have to be there to say, give me that phone, run that cell phone back. You don't have to be there to say, you're not going over this person's house this week. You know what I'm saying? You can be that person where, again, there's nothing to measure up to. You know what I'm saying?
You're going to have all the fun aunties that's listening writing you hate mail.
I don't think they're going to write me hate mail. I think they're going to agree with me, because the only person that's really, and I'm not going to say the only person, because there are some people that are really, really, cognizant about, this person is a part of my village. They're in my life. They're helping me to raise my child. But for the most part, I think that you probably get that love and that acceptance from the child itself, which would, help you to negate the feelings of having imposter syndrome. But I don't think oftentimes you get it from the parent per se,
That's true.
Because a lot of times the first thing people say, and I don't know if you heard this as a single woman, is, well, you don't have kids. Well, wait till you have kids and you'll see what it is. Now, I done been the auntie, the fun auntie. I'm buying that popcorn that y'all keep selling every other month. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming to your games and everything. And now when there's an issue and I give you some type of insight, I don't know anything because I don't have kids. So that's what I'm saying. It all comes right back. It all plays a part, and I can see how you can have imposter syndrome with all of that.
Damn, Kristen, that's a whole wow. Like, that really just kind of silenced me for a second, because I hadn't thought about it like that, and I guess that is true. I'm really trying to think. Like, I guess I did feel like that during those times, like just being the aunt or just being the best friend, sister best friend or whatever, where people are like, you getting the fun and all of that. But I have friends who are mothers and probably sometimes feel like they're not getting a pat on the back either, even though there's a whole Mother's Day and all of that. But I feel like cranium overload, like we are all low key feeling like imposters, because shoot,
I can even tell you another situation that it's not going to be a good situation, but it's a situation that could kind of tie into it as well. I mean, I know someone whose wife was like, I feel like us as wives, we do all this stuff, and then the side chick reap the benefits. Like, you get to have fun with the side chick. Wow. And I'm at home washing clothes.
Ooh.
So, I mean, it can be imposter syndrome from both ways. Like, am I being a good wife? Oh, boom. Well, yeah, I am. I'm doing everything else. But then you got this other person over here that's like, I'm picking up where that person dropped off. Like, am I being a good, So you can look at it in so many different ways.
Now that's funny. I don't know if you watch. Do you watch the new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
I haven't watched it yet. I have Peacock, but I just haven't watched it yet.
Get into it. So
Okay.
we got caught up on like the current season that they have out or whatever, and I don't want to give too many spoilers, but they kind of showed the dynamics between Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv, like just their relationship, the roles, how they support each other, how they feel like they may be lacking support from the other one. And there is like a situation that's occurring on like that season finale of their third season where Uncle Philip is really out here feeling like nobody is showing him appreciation. And Aunt Viv is like really out here just feeling like taken for granted. And the show that was coming on in the 90s, like they didn't really explore their relationship dynamics like that, but I feel like that's a good example of just kind of how to navigate those things. So we were having a conversation about it, like, well, damn, why would a man even seek attention from someone else if their wife is out here doing everything that they're supposed to, or like, putting their all into it? Like, is that really a matter of maybe the wife not being a good wife, or like, I don't want to just say that the nigga is trifling, but I mean,
So now you're going. Now you're going off subject. So that's gonna have to be another episode for another day. And I feel like we need to invite some men's on the episode so they can talk about it. But it could also be imposter syndrome for men, because think about it. As a man, your job is to provide and protect. That's what society tells you: provide and protect. So you come home, you've provided, you done went to work all day, you done got to the house, you done locked the door at night, turned off the lights, you protected. But when you get home, maybe dinner isn't cooked, or maybe someone says something that just takes you out of character for a second, and now the husband that you thought you were, you're not it, and now you need somebody else over here to be like, no baby, you still that man, I like you when you da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So that could be it too.
Everybody is needing affirmation. I feel like that.
I agree. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, like the affirmation that need to be a whole nother topic also, because just the words that you're telling yourself and what you're telling your spouse, your friends, your parents, your grandparents, like those words really do have power when it comes to like crafting your identity, or crafting who you see yourself or who you see other people as. Because I never, growing up, never once thought that, dang, maybe my auntie is sitting out here feeling like, well, your mama getting all the glory and I don't have no kids or whatever, like feeling like you're not doing your best job. Like, I feel like that self-talk probably could change that narrative so much. Even just like speaking life into your husband. I know people say like speak life into your relationship, speak life into your family, your friends, and all of those things. But what you're telling yourself also can kind of control how you view yourself. Like, if I'm telling myself, damn, I shouldn't be here, then I'm going to start operating like, well, maybe I shouldn't. And that is creating the imposter syndrome.
But I feel like you hit the nail on the head. And I was having a conversation with this guy today, and I can just see like some of the ways where like he should be affirmed. Like, either I could affirm him, but he should also affirm himself, because sometimes we don't do that. But with the imposter syndrome, I think that's a very good way to combat it. Like, you have this job, you have this career. I deserve to be in this firm. I deserve to make the amount of money that I make. I deserve to drive this car because I worked hard for it. This wasn't given to me. This is what I deserve. And I do think that to combat that, we probably need to take a little break and just say that, you remember on what was it? Oh, Family Matters. Remember there was like 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? TGIF, guys.
Hilarious.
Yeah, you take a moment, get your affirmations going, like what I have to do with my upcoming show. I know these songs. I know how to sing these songs. I can sing these songs. I deserve to be in this show.
Yes. I deserve love. I deserve to be loved beyond measure. And
exactly.
I have to definitely be very, I guess, grateful for having somebody who is able to like speak freely about how they feel. I don't have to ever worry about him not telling me if he's unhappy, or if something bothers him, or if something don't seem right, if the math ain't mathing. So I feel like I have to be very vocal also. And that probably would help a lot with just like feeling like, okay, well, let me ask, like, not like a pop quiz, husband, tell me XYZ, 1, 2, 3, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? But just, like a check-in, or like, okay, exactly what you said about the list that I should make.
Yeah. And I think that like relationships, and it doesn't even have to be relationships, it can just be, things that you have going on for yourself. We just have to start being a little bit more intentional with what we want to do, how we're doing it, how we're speaking to ourselves, how the relationship is going. You just got to be intentional, especially if you want things to last, because everything is seasonal. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying seasonal like things get in, but in this season, my flowers are growing. But in the next season, they won't be growing. They're just going to be where they are. And I'm saying that because that is exactly how life happens. Sometimes people don't tell you everything that you need to know that can help you get to where you guys need to be. But I think with intentionality, what our intentions for each other is, we love one another. We want to grow with one another. And this is what's going to help us grow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things like that.
I definitely agree with that. I think that'll work in the workplace too. I think that definitely can translate into the self-talk that I'm giving myself at work, and that you're giving yourself at work, or even in your play, or not your play. I need to stop calling it play. Even in your performance.
Yes.
Or even in just like my day-to-day. Like, are you being the best daughter? Am I being the best version of myself that I know I can be? When you fucking
it's
up,
so easy to get in your head. Like, we was just at practice, and one of the dancers, I think he's one of the best dancers at the show, and I'll let you know who it is. But one of the best dancers at the show. But there was a night where people, not just him, people were just in their head. So of course, if you're in your head, there's going to be constant issues and mistakes, and that's what was happening. And it was just like, I could see the defeat on this person as we left practice, and I'm like, they're in their head, because guess what, they are a dancer, they kill it when they dance. My eyes are glued to them. So it's just being in your head. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Did I have a bad day at work? Is this why I can't get it? Am I thinking about something else? Was somebody supposed to call me that I want to kick it with that didn't call me? You know what I'm saying? Did I just get some bad results from the doctor? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to do all of these things, think about it, and think about ways to affirm yourself to combat that imposter syndrome and move through it.
Baby, you in your bag today.
I'm in my bag.
You are in your bag. Because you have literally gave me so much to think about, like, even with this. So I guess the bold statement that I'll make is we are seasoned podcasters. I don't have to feel that we are on here pretending anymore, or that we're not doing as good as someone else, or that we are not astute, or that we're not making the waves that we're supposed to. Like, I can boldly say that I am a good wife in this moment, in this season, because I know I am putting in the effort. I know that I'm doing what I need to do to make sure that me and mine are taken care of. I'm being the best dog mother that I could be, doing what I can, and all of those great things. But I guess the one of the main takeaways from the conversation is your self-talk is really important, and what you're telling yourself, and what you consuming, what you comparing, what are you measuring yourself up against.
So with you saying that, because I'm going to tell you, I have imposter syndrome. Someone just presented me with an opportunity to do something, right? So the opportunity was like, hey, I have a group of, we're just going to say at risk. I could be using the wrong terminology, but we'll just say I have a group of at-risk kids. And what I'm doing is I'm, different things that I see people are good at. I want to give them an opportunity to speak to my kids about it, or to teach my kids on some of the things they're doing. So they presented me with the opportunity, and I'm just like, I don't have no talents. Like, what can I talk to these kids about? Like, and they did it from a sense of a podcast, but I'm like, I don't even know how to, like, what do I tell these kids? Like, I mean, you want me to have them on the podcast, or like, what is it that I do? But the thing about it is, this person saw something in me that obviously I'm not seeing in myself, and so now I cannot translate to do a job that's a paid job to assist
Girl,
the person. So
better
I,
get
I
your
was going to ask you
coins.
about that offline too, but I'm like, well, what is my talent? What is my skill? Because I don't know.
I feel like that's a good moment to like maybe take a pause and then name 5 things that you know that you do great. Or even you can name 5 things. We can name 5 things about each other. I could think of like 5 off the top of my head. I feel like it's probably easier to do this with someone else
I
than yourself.
agree. Yep.
Like, I know that you are fashionable as all get out. You have a great personality. You have a smile that can light up a room. You are able to just electrify a crowd, a conversation, a moment. Like, you're not one of those people who leaves a bad taste in somebody's mouth. I feel like you are also very clever. You come up with stuff in a quick manner where you just think on your feet. And I'm like, damn, I sound like I'm all on your job, Kristen. But
No.
I mean,
but you saying that, and I feel like I'm about to say the exact same things to you. Like, I feel like you are a skilled and talented person with the. I feel like you know how to bring people together for their respective talents and put them in the same room. I feel like you are an organizer. I feel like you are a person that is understanding and willing to do the best job to ensure that people's rights are not taken away from them. I feel like you're a great dog mom. Maybe
child, as you see me multitasking with the dogging, Pepper say this is his time. Pepper,
and I feel like you are extremely selfless too.
You said selfless?
I think you're selfless.
I agree. I think
Yeah,
that's a gift. I think that's a gift and a curse too. But
I do too, because I was gonna say maybe with some people you should have cut it.
Child, and that's a whole nother episode. We'll have my husband co-host that one.
Right.
But that just makes you feel good to hear people
It
say
does.
stuff about you. Like,
it
really does make you feel good. Now, the things that you said, I can't say that I would have said the same things.
Mm-hmm.
But when you said them, I was like, oh,
you
damn,
thought about it.
I do be doing that. Oh, I do. I sure do. I do. Like, it made it seem realer, or it made it seem like something that's actually tangible. And I think that all the things that I named about you would be stuff that would definitely speak to a younger generation, because I feel like you'd be able to connect with people. You'd be able to not just seem like an out of touch adult who is there to lecture them. I feel like you would really be able to speak life into some little people and, make them feel validated and make them feel seen and make them feel comfortable. So you better get your coins.
So yeah, we'll talk more about that offline to see how I can translate and do some things like that. So guys, typically in this moment, we always give you a you better than me moment. But I think, Fallon, if you don't mind, we should do something a little bit different, because I know we've been talking for the most part about imposter syndrome. But I would like to challenge each of us, maybe, starting sometime in May or whenever, to just maybe do 5 affirmations a day. Just affirm yourself, and affirm yourself in ways that you want to grow in. If you are not 100% there, 50% there, if you are there, just whatever that I am statement is that makes whatever it is that you're doing feel true or even more realistic. I would just like to challenge us to do that. And yeah,
that's hard.
It is hard, but at the same time, if you don't have nobody to root for you, you ain't gonna root for yourself.
Yeah, you better be your biggest advocate. If nobody else is singing your praises, like, there's no shame and no shade in singing your own praises at all. And I feel like we probably need to be able to toot our own horns a lot louder than we do, because society has kind of told us to be, demure and not boisterous when it comes to what we have going on. So no, I think.
And we didn't even take it into, like, we could have put this conversation into overdrive, because just Black women alone, how many times do we have to dim our light? How many times are we experiencing imposter syndromes? Because I know I've been in several meetings where I knew the answer and I could wholeheartedly say what the answer was. And then, once I say the answer, someone with the wrong answer would say that it's not the right answer until someone else with the same answer that I said comes back and says the answer. If that's not imposter syndrome, I don't know what it is. Because then you start second guessing yourself when you already know what it is that you know.
I feel like it is. I feel like it really is a bigger conversation. Like, it almost does need to be a part 2. Just dealing with imposter syndrome as a Black woman.
Mm-hmm. And there's so many levels to it, because it can go from anywhere from being, unemployed. It can go from anywhere from being a single mother, or, what I'm saying? Just, it's so many levels to it. So
that's something to think about. It's definitely something to think about.
Well, guys, it has been real. We just want to thank you guys for tuning in to the first episode of season 3. And we hope that you come back and enjoy some of the episodes that we have planned for you guys.
Yes, I'm excited. I hope that we didn't make anyone feel bad about their auntie status, though. I'll go ahead and say that. And Anna, you better than me. You better than me if you don't be patting your auntie on the back and celebrating her, because your aunt is the hardest working person in showbiz right now. Anyway.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
You Better Than Me is a podcast on Pyro Media Network, produced by Pyro Media Productions. Pyro Media Network and Pyro Media Productions are subsidiaries of Pyro Media Enterprises. For more information, please visit www.pyromedianetwork.com. Thank you for listening, and we will see you on the next.